Alright, welcome back to the Rising Empires League, which is a 2v2 tournament by the Rising Empires community. So thanks for hosting it, guys. We've got Team 3D here with Anatan on blue as Delhi once again. B on Rus instead of French this time. And the green trunks. Their opponents today from Genesis Gaming. Got a Malian pick, the red trunks from Isanic, and Chrysio in a purple Holy Roman Empire. So we're in game 2 of this Play All 3 series, I believe they are, with 3D taking the first game. And we're here on King of the Hill. So Isanic with a rear side gold, and I think this is actually going to be very, very important because it's going to make it a lot easier for the Malian player to hold on to that first pit mine. It's going to mean B's not going to be able to rush him as easily. Front side gold for our Holy Roman Empire player, and for our Delhi player also got a front side berries. And B, well, he's not going to have to worry about gold gathering or stone gathering initially. I mean, he's on Rus, so he'll be able to take advantage of a nice hunting cabin gold generation rate on a map like this, because normally you're only getting about 30 a minute, so getting a little bit extra there. He's already got close to 400 gold. It'd be quite easy for him to actually accrue a lot of bounty gold too, because there's twice as many hunts for him to clear. So Anatan's not going to bother clearing his, let his teammate get them. And because the map's a little bit larger, it's going to be harder for Chrysio and Isanic to actually clear all these hunts on B. So he's going to be able to grab a wolf and possibly a good part of this hunt as well. Isanic is back for some more blood. B going to have to bring another scout, finish off this wolf and get this other guy out of here. Lucky to get that scout out of there. He's also trying to harass Chrysio at the gold. HRE player with a lot of villagers on the gold to start with, because they've got no initial starting gold, as they do start with a prelate instead. And B accumulated quite a bit of gold because he'll be taking his Kremlin now. So he'll be able to go for knights, I think. Like, look at how much gold he's got relative to his other resources at the moment. Chrysio, no, aging up. We're taking that early barracks as well. But he's continuing to try and get some gold from his bounty, but Isanic able to deny that wolf there. Isanic going to have some nice gold generation of his own as Malians. So he's got 5 houses rather than either 4 or 6, which is probably the 2 different counts you'd see, I think. For whatever reason, generally when I've seen like Beastie or Recon play Malians, and I've seen them play a fair bit of Malians, seems to be a bit of a flavour of the month at the moment. It's generally 4 or 6, rarely 5 houses you see placed down. Arch and Chapel going to be able to empower a lot here. All the food, the gold, the stone. Because he may actually be looking to go for a second town centre at some point. It's in a nice spot to get all the farms around it later as well. And have them empowered. Gracior. I'll drive back the scouts with some spears there. Early stables here. And we've got Warrior Scout. It's been researched, so Isanic will be able to start doing a little bit of damage with those guys. It'd be tough for B to actually trade with the scouts he's got, because they're not going to have the damage of the Malian Warrior Scout. And it's going for Tower of Victory once again for that attack speed steroid. And it's actually clearing a wolf for whatever reason. It doesn't look like B's actually got a scout nearby at all. So he's just going to leave it on 3 health and just hope that B manages to find him before an opponent. At the end of the day, his scout's going to regen, and it just means that if B is happening to wander through there, he can just one-shot the scout and get a bit of free gold. So it's a bit of planning ahead there by Team 3D. Well, a lot of warrior scouts here interrupting this hunt. So Isanic with a nice push with those, but he's going to run headlong into militia now. So he's going to want to disengage before he loses anything here. So good timing there by him. He's going to let these guys regenerate. Well, this army for B, it's actually going to time out eventually. Isanic trying to get behind the walls though, because if he can get some villager kills here, which he will do, it's also preventing more segments of the walling from going up. I'm going to just reshuffle the cavalry a little bit to try and keep them alive as long as possible. He's lost one of them, but he's taking these vills quite low. He's still denying all this build space. He needs to try and wrap around and get these low villagers here. Not quite able to stick around once again. The militia, still a little bit of time left on them, 40 seconds. So they've definitely served their purpose. Oh no, that's the first set dying there, but these pair, another 40 seconds on those. One more of the villagers getting picked off, but these two might be able to get outside the wall. And they are just able to. Anatand already starting to capture the sacred site there. Will be also just trying to delay Gracior's wall off, but must be a slight gap there in the wall. Looks like it's going to get finished off though. So the sacred site nearly captured here by Team 3D, but Regnitz Cathedral already from Gracior. He's eager to start capturing some relics and also be able to capture the sacred site. Because bearing in mind there is only the one on King of the Hill. So with this age 3, he'll be able to get some man-at-arms out, and he'll be able to get some more prelates out without having to sacrifice town center train time. Also get some handy upgrades. Isanic forcing more militia out of B here. Not able to get any villagers, but he's at least going to know there is a second town center out for B. And it's just walling in the sacred site, putting the pressure on, and he's going to try and wall up as much of the cliffs as he can, just to make it extremely difficult for Genesis to get on top of the hill here. Isanic now on a second pit mine. He's already got the gold he needs to go to Castle Age. Just needs to get an awful lot of food. B and Anatand, not a lot in the bank for them. Neither of them at Castle Age just yet. So the quick Castle Age here for the Holy Roman Empire player could be what interrupts possession of this sacred site. And it's continuing just to wall up. Getting more and more units in. Help defend here because he's able to wall slightly quicker than Isanic can actually cut through the walls here, so slowly work away at the warrior scouts in particular. I mean, these man-at-arms will be quite tanky against these archers, which are only a light infantry. B has some knights to back this up. Chrysaor hasn't got heavy maces in particular, which really helps the man-at-arms fight against what's normally a counter in the knights, you know, from basically any other civ, because they don't get heavy maces as an attack. Warloff not quite finishing up this time. Looks like it will now. So Anatan going to focus down as many warrior scouts as possible once again. The knight's going to be able to fight the man-at-arms as best as possible. Looks like that scholar's going to get caught out, because bearing in mind we do have that marching drills for our Holy Roman Empire player, so his infantry are faster than normal infantry. Heavy maces is finishing up, so Anatan is going to have to try and get a lot of crossbows out to clean up all the infantry here, while Isanic is adding jab throwers now. So if he gets a good mass of these, it's going to be very difficult to fight with ranged against his counter range, because they do have very good anti-range damage. And they actually slightly outrange bowmen. I think they've got the same range as longbows. Well, yeah, the extra damage against range units that they've got. Very solid counter. B and Isanic still sitting in age 2 for the time being. Sounds like Chrysaor's grabbing and putting away some relics. And he's going to try and capture the sacred site and put a keep on it. Now we've got more crossbows coming in for Isanic. I mean for Anatan. So Isanic desperate to pick those off, because he needs to be able to protect his allies' heavy units from those. But if he can do so, these guys can even chase off knights. So with a sacred site capture on the way and a keep on it, it's going to really put the pressure on 3D now, sort of for the first time in the series. With the snipe of the prelate, there's going to need to be another one coming from Chrysaor, and he's actually got another one already trained, but for whatever reason he hasn't sent him over. Maybe he was intending to try and grab a relic. Anatan now able to go for relics himself, so he will do so. Being Isanic still in age 2 for the time being. Good number of houses around that large gold vein though. A lot of gold gen for that. B also content just to sit in age 2 for the meanwhile. So that's a relic up there. Here we go, age 3, he's going to get a high trade house. So he's going to be able to trickle a lot of gold. A bit like having a relic, really. I mean, it's basically just a boosted version of your normal hunting cabin, but on top of that, it does also generate huntable deer, who, you know, you can kill them for an instant 10 gold as well. Now B has found an opening because he's able to sneak in here. Sanic's base, not quite walled up on that second shelf. So B starting to be a real threat to the ecos of Team Genesis Gaming here. You're trying to triple tower his wood line, but he's a little late on it, and so he'll lose some villagers to bring the rest under protection of his town center, and Team GG's range to force to try and clean this up. But with Sofa and Spear here, these guys are going to be very scary for the Knights. Sanic's going to have to try and get Castle Age here. These Knights just being a real pest for the time being. Well, it looks like Anatan is just setting up to start pressuring the keep here of Chrysaor, while a lot of this army of Isanics and Chrysaor is chasing these Knights, trying to prevent further economic damage from them. Isanic now going to add his Castle Age. Going for Farimba Garrison, going to be able to trade cheap batches of units with that. Treb slowly working away at the keep, but it has got a relic garrison in it, so for HRE it is going to give it quite a boon there. Increased weapon range, damage and armor, even line of sight, which is pretty important because it just gives you that little bit more of a tell as to how your opponent's setting up around the map. That's yours. Tower on that stone mine being taken out now. Looks like these night raids all been cleaned up as well. High trade house getting, holy shit, 378 gold a minute, so it's worth nearly 4 relics. You know, add the fact that he's also getting now 73 and 46. He's definitely at, I think it's 500s a gold cap now. So B's getting a lot of free gold right now. Sanic not quite able to repair the wall in time, and now a lot of villagers under threat. He's just buying himself some time here while the rest of his army makes its way back. And the problem with this is it's meaning Chrysaor now is starting to really wear away at, Anatan's starting to really wear away at Chrysaor's keep, although Chrysaor bringing the Springald forward bit by bit because he wants to poke at these trebuchets. It looks like he's going to be able to get this one too. Nice control of the Springald there. First trebuchet being pulled out of there and repaired though. And a raid by B, proving to be a real pest here for Isanic. He's not able to support his teammate up on the hill while this is going on. And B's even going to try and sneak a pair of Knights past just to be even more of a pest and maybe even hit Chrysaor's base while this is going on. Anatan now willing to just split everything up as best he can underneath the keep. Keep pushing here. Got his own Springald here. Well, we've got a Culverin on the way. For Chrysaor, this is like an improved Springald basically. He's taken Age 4 in the meanwhile. That nice, cheap age up path that the Holy Roman Empires get. Holy Roman Empire players get, sorry. Night Raid not quite cleaned up because it's been split up here, so B now start threatening that gold mine. So the keep taken out now. Looks like 3D Clan will be able to take back the sacred site. Oh, they've gone straight past it for the time being. They almost had that neutralized, so they're going to want to come back and neutralize that, I'd say. Saying that B's going to try and catch Isanic's army without the support of the man-at-arms of Chrysaor now, which is going to be really tough. In fact, Chrysaor is getting a bunch of spears. They're nice and cheap. Very cost-effective against the Knights, but they're never going to be able to catch them. And so Anatan triple walling. B's managed to take back that sacred, or re-neutralize it. And we'll probably see Anatan jump on it in a minute or two. With triple walling this time, it's going to be much harder for Genesis to make their way up the hill. So Chrysaor doing his best to try and deny these Knights, but at the same time, Isanic's still got to be careful. Go back on the gatherers now. Oh, go back on the gold gathering now. Be also denying some gold gathering of Chrysaor at the moment, who actually doesn't have a lot in the bank. Anatan coming forward with a lot of crossbows as well. These guys be very effective against some man-at-arms. There's not quite enough jab throwers now to really ruin their day. Be raiding the wood line of Chrysaor. Chrysaor adding a lot of stables. Probably wanting to get that elite knight upgrade and spam a bunch of those, but at the moment it's not been easy for him to get on gold. In fact, he needs to be able to get on that gold mine now, and I don't know if there's really any other easy source other than maybe out here. Meanwhile, Isanic being kept busy by B over here. Anatan coming through to continue the destruction of Chrysaor's base. A landmark been taken out with all those catapults, all those trebuchets, so that's 3 relics of gold generation for Chrysaor gone. Looks like Team 3D are trying to collapse on top of Chrysaor and take him out here. Instead of just going for all the individual barracks, it looks like Anatan just wants to take out the town center here, and B having no problem with taking out the man-at-arms, considering he's got a crossbow backline from his teammate. And GG, looks like Team 3D are going to take game number 2 in this series.